we are fortunate to be sitting with Mr. Charles Nahhas, the man behind many ideas behind Montegrappa and limited editions with Montegrappa. And thank you, Charlie. Thank you for spending time.
Thank you.
I know you're a very busy man.
Yeah. No, and thank you for making time for this. It's good to be here at the Pen Show.
Yeah. We've had opportunities to have used and sold the Chaos, the Angel, the many Muhammad Ali, and many other limited editions. What's coming up? What's going on with Montegrappa?
So Montegrappa is always innovating, coming up with new and wonderful things. You've seen at the Pen Show this year some of the new products that have come out recently in the limited edition space. In particular, some rather statement pieces. Let's say, for example, the Frankenstein, which is, really a big and I could say monstrous pen.
Yeah.
We have the Marconi, the 150-year anniversary of the invention of the radio. That's a big piece as well. Again, we've gone with some rather large pieces. That's something which is interesting because no one's making pens of that size, and there's a question as who really can use those pens. But of course, there's the collectability of them, and with the kind of limitations that we're making, they are demanded, and they are people are finding them appealing. What's coming next is, I'm afraid I can't really reveal too much right now. What we've done, and you know this very well because we've worked together on some of these projects. For example, we did the Armenian project in 2015, and that was, and then we had the Khalil Gibran project, we had the Arabic calligraphy project. I've been very fortunate that Montegrappa has been very willing to work with some of the concepts that we've put forward,
right,
for regional interest themes. So some of those themes which are globally recognized and were launched globally, but we came out of our region. So we're going to be doing more of that. That's one thing I can tell you. We have some ideas for new pens dedicated to the region, with Arabic cultural references and Islamic art, some of these things. Some announcements hopefully reasonably soon.
That's good.
We're continuing to develop the fragrances. The fragrances are very much a regional, let's say a regionally specific product, because of course in this region the fragrances are very much appreciated. So as you know, we've got the three new fragrance lines this year. One of them is the relaunch of the original classic, but we have the Ultimo, Nero Uno Ultimo, which is very much a local taste, and we have the Santo Sky, which is not only a local taste, but that's something that we created with a local perfumer here in the region. So I'm trying to do as much as we can locally to make people appreciate that we're really doing things for the region, as well as, of course, the international, global launches that Montegrappa continue to do.
Great.
Yeah.
So when you say local taste, you mean it has oud in it, or?
So one of them has oud, one of them has a lot of vanilla and sweetness, which is also a typically local taste. So we have a couple of different new launches. We're going to continue in that direction with a balance between the classic and the sort of new. It is difficult because, of course, the local tastes here in the region, in Saudi and UAE and in the Gulf and the Middle East, are for quite strong oud-based woody fragrances, and of course in Europe it's more the fruity and the flowery, floral, and slightly different tastes. We try to balance it with a global approach.
Right, yeah. Right. Of course, the fragrances are an amazing addition to the brand. Going back to the limited editions, do you think what happened with the Trojan horse? How did that idea come by?
So, of course, Montegrappa has always done a lot of classical themed stuff. So again, it's like I said about the fragrance. We do classical, typically, citrus and woody fragrances, and we have then the more local appealing ones, like the ones which are woody and with oud, and those are two slightly different worlds. and of course we have to balance. We don't want to be completely doing Eastern-based styles, and at the same time we don't want to be only doing very classical. We have a balance between the two. And when it comes to the limited edition pens, it's the same thing. We've got things like Frankenstein and Batman, and the kind of slightly crazy things that you don't normally do in a luxury brand like this, which Montegrappa have done incredibly well from the time that we had the Chaos pens and some icons who weren't normally associated with luxury, like Sylvester Stallone, Muhammad Ali. But then, of course, we take that edginess and we have to balance it with the sort of classical approach, which is the classical writers, the classical literary people, and of course the classic themes. So classic themes have always been there in Montegrappa's work. And if you look at, for example, the Dante Alighieri collection, which is a beautiful classical collection, one of the most beautiful stories in classical literature, and so beautifully executed. And so when we find a theme like that is so core to Western literature, it's almost begging to be done. And it's so Homer and the Odyssey, which is Homer is one of Homer wrote the Iliad and the Odyssey. So the Odyssey is a one of the fundamental pieces of Western literature, and we've executed it in a way that I think is quite amazing. I think the Trojan horse to me isn't the core story there. It's a nice display, and of course it's sort of eye-catching, and it brings you into the whole Greek mythology. But the real detail is on the pen itself, and if you look at the detail on the column of the pen with the Corinthian design of the top of the column, that's something particularly typical of Greek classical era, and the Greek fretting around the decoration on the barrel itself. There's a lot of detail to look at on that piece, so it's really quite an incredible piece to study, and I think they've executed it really well to bring out all of those features from the mythology itself, as well as the style of the Greek classical iconic look, to complement the literary aspects of Homer's work.
Well, what's amazing about Montegrappa is that no matter what it touches and what limited edition it produces, and I've been fortunate to be involved with when you were talking about it, or when thinking about it, even designing it, I was fortunate to learn more and more about it. But no matter if it's Frankenstein or all the way on the other type of part of the scale goes to Barbie or even Scrabble, everything has been successful. So I really wish you much success in the future, and I really impatiently and anxiously looking forward to the new innovations.
There will be lots of fun stuff to come, I'm sure. I mean, this is the beautiful thing, is we've got such a wide range of cool stuff. Sometimes it's hard to stop talking, and now you're coming to the end, and I still want to talk about it because we have so much cool stuff that is coming. There's a few that I'd love to mention, but I can't because I think the licenses are still being negotiated. Sure. But some really cool stuff that everyone will have seen, and once we execute it, you'll be like, wow, why did no one use this concept before? So there's a lot of great stuff ranging from, and as you know, we have Lord of the Rings, we have Harry Potter, we have the fantasy world, Batman, of course, the superheroes, right through to the classics, right through to Ernest Hemingway, Nelson Mandela, Nicholas Copernicus, the what's his name, who circumnavigated the world, Magellan's, the Voyager pen. We have so many stories. It's kind of hard sometimes to explain Montegrappa without showing all of them. We just have such a width. And what's nice, and maybe I'll finish on this, if you do go on the montegrappa.com website, as well as seeing all the products that we currently sell, we do have a place called The Vault. If you go look around and you'll find a place called The Vault, maybe you search The Vault, like a vault in a bank, and that's where we have, it's a page you can click and go through to, and you can see all the limited editions from previous years that we've launched, and right through to, I think, going back about 15 years. So you can see all of those stories and get an idea of some of the cool stuff we've done. Because once, this year we have so much just here of the currently launched products from last year and this year. The ones were launched 2-3 years ago are no longer even talked about anymore. Right. And it's a shame to lose that. So we've still got a wealth of history in the kind of stories that we've told, and they're there to look at on the montegrappa.com website.
Yeah, I'll put the website and also Walt on the bio. Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
Charlie.
Okay.
Thank you.